Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and today I'm going to be sharing my end of the year homeschool budget, what I spent. So I did put up a budget at the beginning of the year, projected spending, and we have finished the school year. So I'm going to show you how much I spent this school year. So if you're new to my channel, I have a 4-year-old in preschool, a 7-year-old doing first, second grade work, and an 11-year-old in 5th grade. This is our 3rd year of homeschooling, and I choose to put all of my budgeting in an Excel spreadsheet. That's just easier for me. I like to be able to see everything from year to year, and it helps me project spending for future years. Also, you can do things like make graphs and diagrams and things like that, so you can really pinpoint areas you want to focus on. So for example, I can see last year what my biggest expense was opposed to this year, and it helps me project that future expenses. I also think it's really important to keep track of what you're spending, because it's really easy to overspend in homeschooling. It's very easy to buy the next new shiny thing. And I think when you have your money divided up into what areas it's going, it's easier to see what you're spending your money on and to be more mindful of that. We are a single income family, so I don't have lots of money to spend on all these different things. So I have to be really intentional with how I spend my money. And third, it really helps for tax purposes when it's time for tax season, I have all my receipts in an area, and then I have all of my recorded information in one, because I've done this budgeting since we started homeschooling, because it's necessary for my family on a single income to know how much we're spending. So I'm going to actually take you over to my computer and show you my Excel spreadsheet and how everything went this year. So as you can see, this is the budget for this past school year, 2023 to 2024. I do have previous years on here as well, and I have the totals at the bottom to tell me how much I spent. So my first year of homeschooling, I spent this. My second year of homeschooling, I spent this, and I did graph that one out to see, group subjects, 4th grade, K through 1st grade. And this will be this year. So the highlighted is things I have purchased, because as you can see, I have a budget for next year, and there are some things I've already started to purchase. So by the end of the year, everything I have in here should be highlighted for next year. So for my 10/11-year-olds, so 5th grade, we bought the level IEW, level 2, level A, and that was, past summer for this year. We've purchased all of Dimensions throughout the year, Lightning Literature, and then these are the books. I get them from Thrift Books. Handwriting Without Tears, said their vocab was free because I had a Thrift Books credit. This is the second section of Dimensions, so it usually is around $83 to buy a set, but because I had some components, it has gotten cheaper. Bought Editor-in-Chief, again, that's on Thrift Books. Climate Change, off the C website. Brain Food, Math Mammoth Review, and you can see here I have a total. So this is what I spent for my 5th grader for her core subjects. And then my 6, 7-year-old, so I got Dimensions for her. And again, I'm starting to see some cost savings now, because I have the teacher books for Dimensions K through 5th grade, so I won't have to make that purchase with her. I just have to buy the textbook, workbook, and tests. We use Core Knowledge 2nd grade for her language arts, so that's $0, completely free online. Her court trophies, those were from a previous year. We just brought them into this year. Handwriting Without Tears and First Language Lessons was $5 because I got that used off Thrift Books. So you can see this is what I spent on my 6, 7-year-old for 1st, 2nd grade. And then for group work, so this is our O Freedom U.S. History curriculum. This is for Which We Stand, a book I got to go with that, was $0, again, because of that Thrift Books credit. I got a Core Knowledge book that was $14. That was used, I believe, on eBay. O Freedom Kids, this is the younger kids version, the K through 2nd. And then the books for both the older edition and the younger edition of O Freedom was $160. Again, that was all off Thrift Books. Core Knowledge Geography, obviously that was $0 because Core Knowledge is free online. geography workbook. And then the Don't Know Much About 50 States, already own that book. The DK 50 States was $13.98, again, thrift books. These are the puberty books I chose to get, and those were all from thrift books. This was a game, thrift books. Mint and Bloom, this is what we used for social justice this past year. And Rand History is the book that went with it, with thrift books. The books I got for our Santa Claus study. This is various Mint and Bloom studies. I believe I got their Edgar Allan Poe and their Valentine's units. This was Hoffman Academy for my oldest. Preschool math, so this would be my preschooler. That was just preschool math at home with Kate Snow. Philosophy book, again, got it used. Oak Meadow Civics, this is something I plan on using at the later half of middle school, but I did purchase it this school year. And then same thing with middle school art books, that's something I plan on using towards the end or starting next year, but I don't tend to buy things really ahead of time unless I have a deal on them, because again, my budget is limited. I don't want to spend a lot on future purchases. And then my books, so teacher resource books. This was problem-based learning from the C website with rigor. And then Pet Math is something we're doing this summer. I'll link above my summer plans. Reading Zone is something I purchased. And then a bigger expense this past year is we decided to do map growth testing, and I will make a whole video on my experience with that, why we decided to do that this year. But you can see that was $115. So if I take away the map growth testing, you can see I am almost spot on with what I spent last year. That's why budgeting and making this projected spending is important. So I know how much I'm spending or projected to spend each year. So the first year was $1,400, second year $1,300, and this year it was $14, but that's because the map testing at the end of the year, which is something we'll be continuing to do year after year. But that gives you the grand total of what I spent this year on homeschooling for my 3 kids. On group subjects, so I did break it down, group subjects was $673. 5th grade was $544, first, second grade was $61, and preschool was $12. So you can see here, amounts spent by grade, that breaks it down for you. This is group, this is 5th grade, first, second grade. And what's interesting about this is last year, the majority of my money was spent on my daughter when she was in 4th grade, and group subjects was next. But this year we spent more on group subjects. So that really helps me figure out what spending will look like next year. And I don't include things like horseback riding or gymnastics because those are the things my kids would do regardless if we homeschooled or not. So I have my projected fall, winter, and winter to spring budget here. There are a few things I've purchased already, but I do anticipate next year being less, and that's because we're just doing a lot of core knowledge resources next year, which are completely free online. But it does give me an idea of where our money will be most likely going next year. So that is my budget for this past year. That's how much I spent for each of my kids. If you have any specific questions about my budgeting or anything you saw in the video, let me know in the comments below. If not, thank you for watching.